Suella Bremen, why won't this Rwanda bill stop the boats?
Well, Christopher, whilst there are some welcome elements in this third piece of legislation that the government has put through to stop the boats, unfortunately it is fundamentally, fatally flawed for two big reasons. Firstly, it doesn't preclude individual claimants, that's illegal migrants who have come here on the boats, from legally challenging through the courts our powers to detain or to remove them. So what we'll see is wide-scale and repetitive individual claims being made through the courts time and time again, only having the effect of delaying their removal to Rwanda. Secondly, it doesn't stop the scenario that we all saw in June 2022, whereby the plane was grounded on the tarmac because a judge in the European Court of Human Rights at the 11th hour, pursuant to an opaque process where the UK government wasn't even represented, blocked the flight from taking off. And there's nothing in this bill that will prevent that from happening again.
So the changes you're backing with Robert Jenrick, your former colleague in the Home Office, and others too, will stop that happen, is that right? These changes
yes.
You're offering?
We've engaged with the government over several weeks, and we've now tabled several amendments in the name largely of Robert Jenrick but also of Sir Bill Cash to fix the bill, and we're putting them forward in the spirit of constructive engagement with the government. They will dramatically reduce the ability of people to thwart their removal through the courts, and they will emphasise and clarify that these pyjama injunctions, these Rule 39 orders from the European Court are not binding, and they will empower a Minister, Secretary of State for the Home Department, to direct that these flights can take off. Because what we want to see, if we want to stop the boats, is regular flights taking off to Rwanda with large numbers of passengers. You know, a token flight with a handful of people on them on it is not going to stop the boats. We need an effective deterrent. People are coming over in their thousands on the small boats. They need to know that if they get here, they will be detained, they will be put on a plane, and they will be removed to Rwanda. So we need a large powers, and we need to reduce the ability of these illegal migrants to block their removal.
The PM wants bright ideas. He told voters in Accrington on Monday this week that. Is he looking at any of your measures? Have you been heard that the PM is looking at the ideas you're proposing?
Well, I would respectfully say that these are some bright ideas that we've put forward. I mean, I have personally some expertise in this subject. I advocated for many of these measures 12 months ago when I was Home Secretary. The Prime Minister refused to accept them then. He's come some way forward. He's now introduced a third bill, as I say, with some of those measures. But unfortunately, it's lacking in the essential things that is going to make this bill work, that is going to stop the boat. So we've got some bright ideas. We've engaged constructively. We want this bill to work. It currently does not. And to pretend otherwise, I'm afraid, does a disservice to the British public. It amounts to a betrayal to the British public.
Committee stage in the Commons, and then there's a third reading on the whole bill. If the government doesn't accept your amendments or the amendments don't go through, what happens at that third reading vote, potentially on Wednesday? What will you do?
Well, listen, I'm only going to support a bill that works. As currently drafted, this bill does not work. And if there are no improvements to it, I will have to vote against it, I'm afraid. I'm sent to Parliament to vote for things, to be for things or to be against them, not to sit on the fence. And I owe it to my constituents, I owe it to the British people to be transparent and honest about the situation that we're in. It's absolutely essential that we deliver on this pledge to stop the boats.
How many of the other colleagues of yours, the 54 or so, have signed many of these amendments, will vote against it at third reading if it's not amended?
Listen, I've been working extensively over the last few weeks with many colleagues, and I'm very encouraged by their support. We've got over 50 Conservative MPs who have now publicly put their names to these amendments, who share our concerns, who want to fix the bill. This is a significant number of backbenchers who feel very strongly, and we will all be discussing this matter intensively over the next few days.
Because you could defeat the government and help Labour defeat the government and potentially bring the government down next week.
Well, listen, what my objective is to deliver a bill. What my objective is to deliver a bill that works.